Hello everybody, it's Niklas and welcome to this new video on Blender. And in this video we are going to see how to work with the selections in the edit mode. So what type of selection you can do. We are going to see some selection but also more advanced selection. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like the content. First link on the description, the complete course Blender is available. So if you want to learn Blender step by step with the course structures, it is on the first link on the description. You will see the model, the session, what you will be able to learn. This course is perfect if you want to start to a beginner levels and have an advanced level in 3D modeling using Blender. So first link on the description. So let's start to do this. Here we have a cube and I'm going to just add another cube, but I like to remove the cube and to add another cube just after. So let's click on add mesh and just select the cube and resize the cube on the right, and I will apply two value. The first value that I will apply will be 6 on the x-axis, and on the y-axis we will apply 8, and on the z-axis 4. So now to work with the selection in the edit mode, you need to switch to the edit mode just here, and you need to select, you have your tools of selection because here it is the bevel tools. So let's select these tools, and when you click on this tool, first if you stay left click, you have different type of options here. First things to do is to understand what type of selection you want to have. So if it's a face, you click on face and you can only select a face. If you click here, it is edge, and you can only select an edge. As you can see, if you click on the face, it's not going to work. You will select the edge, and you can select vertex. And in this case, you can just select a vertex. So this is the first thing to understand what you can select. And depending on what you can select, you can, for example, create extrusion. I can use face selections. If I click here, I can just drag and move this face. If I click here, I can just drag and move this face. If I click here and I want an extrusion, I can press E on my keyboard and create an extrusion. If I click here, I can press E on my keyboard. But you can also, for example, click on the edge selection, select the edge, and if you press E and X, I can extrude just this edge and create like a face on this area. But you can also select just an edge, just a vertex, and you can click on the vertex. If you press E and constraint on the Z-axis, I can extrude this vertex, as you can see. So this is the first things to understand about the selections. So now let's just come back to the object mode and select this object and press delete. I will go and add mesh and I will select the plane. This plane I will change little bit the x value for 6, and I will change little bit the y value for 8. And after to do this work, we will switch in the edit mode. I don't have any subdivision, so on this plane I can only select this face, or I can select different edges just like this. Something that I will do is to subdivide first. So I can press A to select all my object. And when you want to select all the object, you can press A and you can select all the elements at the same time. When you go and select, you have also different type of selections that you can use here. First, let's click on A, right click, subdivide. And I can enter the number of subdivision just here, and let's increase, and I will enter, for example, 10 subdivision. So after I have subdivide, if I press A, as you can see, we can select all the faces. If you want to deselect, you can just click outside. If, for example, I still have the face selection, you can create multiple selection with different type of tools. Let's click on the Z-axis, just here. And if you go here, you have the possibility to use the select box. And thanks to that, you can create a frame of selection. And for example, I can select these faces. You can also use select circles, and you can define the radius of your cursor, and you can also create a selection only using these tools. And you can also use select lasso, and in this case you can go start left click and you can create a selection using the lasso tools. So let's just come back to the basic selection tools. If you want to select multiple elements at the same time, you can also press shift. So if I select this face, I can press shift and I can select multiple face at the same time, just like this. So here I'm pressing shift and I can select multiple face. And if, for example, I use my tool Move Tools, I can just drag and move these multiple faces at the same time. Now you can have also more advanced features when you click on the selections. And if I deselect everything, just here, you have the possibility in the selection to select similar. And for example, you can select what similar you want to have. It can be, for example, an area. And you need to define the area of the base. So for example, I can define this area and I can go and select similar area. And in this case, he's going to select all the faces with the same area. If, for example, I click on this face again and I go on select similar, it can be also a normal, coplanar. Let's select, for example, normal, and he's going to select all the faces with the same normal. So it means all the faces that we have on this view, as you can see, that are not to create this type of curves, just here. You have also more advanced feature. If I come back to my edit mode, I can delete this one and I can go and add mesh, and I will select a cylinder. After to select this cylinder, I will keep these parameters and I will go in the edit mode. What's happened if I want to, I click on the edge and I want to select all the edges just here around. If I want to select all these edges, how I can do this? You can just select the first edge, and after that you can go on select and you have select loops, and you have the edge loop and edge rig. If I select edge loops, I can select all the edges here, as you can see. And if I drag and move, it's like to select the face, but I can also use extrude, for example, scale, and do something like this. Now if I want to select only these edges around, so it means this one and all the edges around, you can use also select loops, and in this case we will use edge ring. And thanks to that I can select all this ring. If I press extrude, as you can see, I will extrude all the rings at the same time, so it's not very convenient, but we have selected all these edges at the same time, as you can see. So in the selection you have the basic selections, but you can also select more selection. You can also invert the selection. So if I select this face and I want to select all the other elements except this face, I will go and select invert or Control I, and I select all the other faces except these faces, just like this. And if you press A, you can select everything as explained before. So this is how you can start with the edit mode and the selections. If you like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. First link on the description. The complete course Blender is available. So if you want to learn Blender step by step with the course structure, this course is perfect. It is on the first link on the description. You will see the description of the course, the model, the session, what you will be able to learn. Concretely, we learn all the features of Blender, a lot of hours of training content. It is a perfect big guide to use Blender if you want to create your 3D models and if you want to create also realistic environment. First link on the description. For our next video, see you. Ciao, ciao.